Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's bird video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's bird video. Day 10 will take us to the 9th of March and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and CFS Ensembles. Maybe on a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us well into the second half of March. I should get on back for you in a moment. Just say that first video release today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and also released Strat Watch episode 16, I think we're up to, with that one. So check out Strat Watch and also 6 AM forecast if you'd like to do that. We'd normally be live streaming our 10-14 day on a Wednesday, but I'm off out with Sim, having a little bit of a meal out, a little bit of dinner, so out. So I thought, you know, let's do it as an upload this week. We will be backing off on the Wednesday and Friday live streams in the next few weeks as well, by the way. So we always sort of ease back on live streams through the spring. So you know, the Wednesday 10 to 14 day will become a regular sort of upload for a month or two during the spring, and then we shall probably bring the Wednesday streams back again when we get into the summer. But I do wind things down after a long winter in the spring. But we probably won't do that just yet. I think we'll probably still do a few more live streams during March, depending on the interest of course. But for a while, the Sunday stream will be like the primary stream. Well, I hope that's all right with everybody. That's what we usually do. Right, anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. I'm going to begin with the Arctic oscillation observed and forecast, I thought, for this one. Haven't looked at that for a little while. So the AO currently in a very positive state. The black line here shows where we've been with the Arctic oscillation, red lines at the end where the GFS Ensembles is forecasting Arctic oscillation to go. So the AO is currently in a very, very positive state. Around +3 by the look of it. It will be coming down to around neutral though when we get into the beginning of March, and then might actually go negative as we push on through the first half and into the middle part of March. So could that be an indication that the SSW, check out Strat Watch more about that, but you haven't talked about it in the 10-14 days as well. Could that be a sign that the SSW is beginning to have an impact here on the stratosphere? Possibly. You know, it could be a sign that the SSW is beginning to have an effect on the troposphere, I should say, with the AO going into negative territory there. So remember, it's always the weather drives the index. So if the AO goes negative, that's happening because the blocking signal is increasing. The blocking signal is what we're expecting to see increase after the SSW. But you can never 100% say one thing is leading to another thing in the weather. It possibly could be, but the blocking signal would have increased anyway without the expected SSW. But anyway, just like I say, the blocking signal is increasing there through March, and we could be seeing signs of some northern blocking appearing. Now, the NAO looks like this. Again, the black line shows where we've been with Northern Atlantic oscillation, red lines at the GFS Ensembles forecasting the NAO to go. So currently positive as well with the NAO. So we've got both the indexes positive at the moment, very positive AO, moderately positive NAO. No, it's no wonder that we're in an Atlantic driven and relatively mild spell. The NAO also on the move though, and dipping down into negative territory if the GFS ensembles are correct, moving through March. So this could be a signal for colder weather into March, you know, with the AO and also the NAO both seemingly heading off into a negative into a negative territory. That could be the signal for some colder conditions through the first half of March, or certainly by the middle of March anyway. I will keep posted on that. Central temperature, I think 1779 is safe now, I think. We've gone down to 7.8 yesterday. So that's the visual 2 yesterday, the 27th of February. That's 4 degrees above 61 to 1990 average. Remember, 7.9 is what we've got to beat. So that was from 1779. Now, that might pop up tomorrow back to 7.9, but I don't see it getting any higher than that. So we could, I suppose we could still equal 1779. We could come out equal with 1779, but I can't see how we can beat it from here. And more likely, I would say tomorrow will probably shave off. If we do like tick up 7.9 today, I would say tomorrow will probably shave off another 0.1 of a degree. Depends how quickly cold front pushes through tomorrow. So I think we'll be finishing up either at 7.9, so we will equal the all-time record, or we will finish up at 7.8 and come in at just 0.1 of a degree under 7.9. So it's going to be a very exciting finish, and we're so close to beating that long-standing record, but I don't think we're going to do it. And I think 1779 hangs on by its fingertips. It really is hanging on by its fingertips stuff, this. So 1779 hangs on by its fingertips, I think. We'll confirm on Friday, though, of course. These are the 500 millibar height on grade charts for Penn State University for next week, 10 days. We've got the ECM WF on the top, and the GFS is down here on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet, is an area in the actual high pressure, low pressure being moved around by a jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to above average heights, which is high pressure. Blue to below average heights, which is low pressure. And you see, in a 7 to 10 day time frame, we're building up quite a large area of high pressure towards Scandinavia and bringing the wind around to more of an easterly direction with the eastern potential. But it's just trough of low to west and to the southwest. That's also trying to draw in a southwesterly wind. So a little bit of a battle going on there between that low and the Atlantic and the high pressure towards the northeast. And you see, we do have quite a lot of high pressure within the high latitudes as well. So this would be the reason that the AO is going into negative territory. All of that red there indicating high pressure within pretty high latitudes, and enough to start sending the AO index into a negative territory. But for us, we've got a bit of a battle going on between that low pressure in the Atlantic and high pressure way to the northeast. But GFS is very similar. Actually, again, it has the high pressure away to the north and to the northeast, has the low pressure out to the west and southwest. So the high pressure trying to bring in easterly winds, of course, but low pressure trying to maintain southwesterlies, and in between we're in that battleground scenario. And that could either be a wet or a dry situation, depending on which of those two, the high pressure or the low pressure, it predominates that. So if the high pressure predominates in factor, then we could go into a drier spell. But if that low pressure starts sending up weather fronts, it looks like it could do on both of those scenarios. It looks like low pressure is close enough to us to be throwing up weather fronts and door to lows and whatnot, though that could actually be a very wet pattern, because those low pressures and weather fronts could get locked in over the country by this block. So the high pressure would stop those fronts from clearing the country, and that can actually be a very wet pattern. So we've been thinking March would be a dry month, but could the deluge actually continue into March? Right, so these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Peacehaven today, suggested location for this part of the video. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Peacehaven. We're starting off above average at the moment. We are going to find the upper air temperatures coming down, though, by the end of the week and into the weekend, going quite cool. Then we go towards the end of the first week into the second week of March, and the upper air temperatures then are beginning to lift back up and go above the red line, go above the long-term 30-year average. There is a lot of scatter in there, though, I have to say, with that. So, of course, we have got the milder ensemble members up here, and they are the majority. So the majority of GFS ensemble members are turning things milder, hence the white line, the ensemble mean lifting up. But we have got a fair considerable number, a fair few GFS ensemble members that are keeping things cool, and one or two outliers are actually very cold. So they will probably be bringing in easterly winds, I would have thought. So quite a bit of uncertainty, I would suggest, from around, I don't know, from about the 8th March onwards, quite a bit of uncertainty. But before then, starting mild, and then a cold snap over weekend into the beginning of next week. Precipitation-wise, again, we're going to have lots of unsettled weather over the next week or so as well. Possibly a bit of a windier, drier weather there from about the 7th to the 9th of March. And then maybe going unsettled again, if anything, through the second week of March. Snow row looks like that, so chance of a few flakes down there at Peacehaven. Doesn't look that dramatic, but there are a bit of a cluster of there's a bit of a cluster of snow spikes there around Friday and into Saturday. Might do a little snow watch tomorrow. I'm not sure if there's enough to worry in or not, really. I'm undecided, so we might have a little snow watch squeezed in tomorrow, though. Temperature anomalies from the 28th of February to 7th of March, coming out close to, or perhaps slightly below average. Most of Western Europe is included in that. Many central and eastern parts of Europe, though, and northern Europe looking very mild. And precipitation anomalies from the 28th February, 7th of March. Bare average a bit wetter than normal now, except across northern Scotland where it's drier. So maybe we're seeing signs of the deluge actually continuing through March rather than things getting drier. Oh dear. This is related with a map from earth.nullschool.net showing low pressure in the Atlantic, and there's weather front pushing through the country as well today. So it is very mild today, both southwesterly winds, but tomorrow we will turn the wind round to the northwest. We'll bring in a polar maritime airstream, and that northwesterly then will stay with us through the weekend. Okay, let's start going through chart data then. This latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Saturday. Trough of low pressure is slipping through the country, so it's looking quite cool and unsettled then. As that low pressure comes southwards, it will pull in some colder air from the northwest as well with it, so that's where the risk of rain, sleet and snow is coming from at the end of week and into the weekend. We keep that trough of low sitting over top of the country into Sunday. It weakens by Monday, so it could be mostly dry day. Then more low pressure starts coming in from off the Atlantic. Notice at the same time, high pressure is building to the northeast as well. The Scandinavian high is starting to get involved. So that's how we look by the middle of next week, Wednesday, 6th of March. Low pressure in the Atlantic, high pressure over Scandinavia, and winds are coming up from a southerly direction then. This low pressure would bring outbreaks of rain into the west, and it would be pretty mild with both southerly winds. As I said in yesterday's video, southerlies can easily back round to easterlies, though, and that is something that we have got to be aware of as we're going further on through March, I think. Icon, again, looking like that with the trough of low pressure sitting over the top of the country, bringing showers, long spells of rain, and possibly some slight wind sheet conditions as well through the weekend. On into Sunday, again, we keep that trough over the country, cool and unsettled. For the early part of next week, low pressure then starts coming in from off the Atlantic, turning milder, wetter and windier. That's be set up by the time we get through to Wednesday, 6th of March. By then, it looks like the high pressure is beginning to take over across Scandinavia. These areas of low pressure in the Atlantic are starting to become more blocked by that area of high pressure to the east. And I haven't got the KMA up, have I? So I tell you what, let's just get that up, shall we? Hold on. Okay, there we go. KMA is up and ready to go now then. So starting off again on Saturday, low pressure over top of the country. So that's bringing cooler and unsettled weather with it. The low pressure sticking around the country through the rest of the weekend. Then into next week, more low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. That looks a little bit alarming, I have to say, from a rainfall perspective. Notice how the high pressure is away to the northeast, so that is blocking the progress of these areas of low pressure from pushing through the country. And that's how we can go into a very wet pattern with this, as those areas of low pressure come up against that block. You know, there are weather fronts that these low pressures are pushing into the country, and they're not clearing the country very successfully, to say the least. Now, we finish up looking like we're about to pull in a cold easterly there by the time we get through to the end of the KMA run. That gets us to the 11th of March. Notice what I was saying, how those southerlies, which are mild, wet, and rain, but notice how those southerlies back southeasterly and then easterly. That can happen very easily in this kind of pattern. There's a bit of a cold pool sitting to the east as well. Let's have a look at the 850 temperature. So, yeah, got quite a significant cold pull sitting just away to our east. It looks like we're about to pull some of that cold air in from the east there, right at the very end of the KMA range. It's a long way off, of course, but it's the 11th of March, so, unlikely to verify, but it's something that can happen with this kind of blocking pattern. Right, okay, let's move on to the GFS then. So again, we've got the trough low pressure over top of the country on Saturday, bringing showers and long spells of rain, keeping that low pressure going through the weekend and into the beginning of next week, further low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic, so further spells of wet weather to come, and pretty mild as well, winds coming up from a southerly direction between the high pressure to the east and the low pressure out to the west. Now we finish up by day 10, looking like that. Well, we're not finishing because we've still got more slides to go, but by day 10 we've got high pressure to the northeast, low pressures to the south-southwest, again bringing the wind from that easterly direction, so potentially looking a little bit on the chillier side then. Beyond day 10, low pressures in the south, that brings quite a bit of wet weather in with it, I would imagine. And further areas of low pressure driving in from off the Atlantic, coming up against this block away to the east and to the northeast. That's a setup by the end of the GFS midnight run, started to go a little bit drier under high pressure there. But that was like a wet couple of weeks, I have to say, from the GFS there. Right, okay, so this is the precipitation forecast based on that GFS midnight run. Just have a quick look at the wind shear potential for Friday. So we've got a very wet day to come tomorrow across the south and the southeast with that area of wet weather. That finally gets out of the way overnight Thursday to Friday, and then Friday we start to bring in this next system, and that's one that brings rain to the south, but potentially a little bit of snow into Wales and northern England and also Northern Ireland there. I said we might do snow watch, I might squeeze in a little snow watch tomorrow evening. Following on from that, we've got further showers following on behind, so those are a little bit wintry from Friday into Saturday, that's particularly through the Midlands. I'll give a few flakes for the towers there, for me and the towers. And then, so we start turning milder as getting to the last part of the weekend and through into next week, and the precipitation turns from wintry conditions back to rain then, with those winds coming up that southerly, southeasterly direction. That's the setup by day 10. Right, so GFS 6 then again with that trough of low pressure through the country on Saturday. Bring plenty of rain and some wintry conditions with it. And then on into next week, this is when battle commences. High pressure of Scandinavia, low pressure out in the Atlantic. A little bit of the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. Perhaps a bit stronger with the high pressure of Scandinavia on this GFS run. So the low pressures are further to our south and west, so maybe not quite as wetter pattern with the GFS 6 there. By day 10, it looks like that high pressure of Scandinavia is taking over and pulling in a not particularly cold easterly. Beyond day 10, though, then the low pressure areas start breaking through again, so we start turning wetter once more with those areas of low pressure to our south and west, high pressures away to the east as well. We're very close, and we do eventually get to like a proper easterly by the 13th of March. Again, I don't think there's much cold air, though, coming in with that. Let's just have a quick look at the upper air temperatures. So, yeah, it'll be cool, and it'll be cloudy, and it'll be dank, but not much in the way of genuine cold air being brought in with those issues, which is something that happens, as the spring progresses. We do get more in the way of easterly winds, and Scandinavian highs always happens, but there's no cold air to the east, and eventually by May, those issues are actually bringing quite warm air from the east. This precipitation forecast based on that GFS 6 run. Again, we've got plenty of wet weather to come through the rest of the day, and particularly tomorrow in the south and the southeast. Once that gets out of the way, then we're into these wintry showers potentially on Friday. So we've got an area of low pressure, zipping through on Friday morning. That brings heavy rain to the south, but there is some snow there through Wales, possibly the Midlands, Northern England, and Northern Ireland with that. So it won't be a classic snow event, but some places could get a few flakes, and maybe some wintry showers carrying on through Friday night into Saturday morning as well. So rather chilly and perhaps slightly wintry start to March here. Of course, by the beginning of next week, the wind turns to the south, the air gets milder, and any precipitation then is more towards rain. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And thank you so much everyone for doing that. Thank you so much. We need to put on around 75 subscribers to get ourselves to 18.1k. So if you could give us a sub and tell your friends and family to subscribe, that would be incredible, and we would be very, very grateful for you, for doing that. Right, okay, GM, again with this trough of low pressure sinking through the country on Saturday, bringing showers, long spells of rain, and as already established, maybe some wintry conditions to some places. Let's not go overboard with the idea, but we're going to have inches of snow in places. It won't be anything like that, but some wintry conditions to some places possible Friday and into Saturday. On into Sunday again, we've got this trough of low pressure sitting over the country, and then through next week, the GM is bringing up this southerly flow, so it gets milder through next week. Could actually turn very mild. I haven't talked much about these southerly winds, but these southerlies could well lift temperatures into mid-teens Celsius through next week. They could very easily drop away again if the wind backs from southerly, southeasterly or easterly. But for a while anyway, it could get very mild through next week. But surface low pressure out to our west-southwest, throwing up probably further bands of slow-moving rain. No, mild and wet. And then the ECM looks like that. Again, low pressure over top of the country on Saturday. Carries on Sunday. Then more low pressure through the early part of next week as well. Heights eventually building to our east, but with the low pressure out to the west as well. We carry on, probably from the west anyway, having further bands of rain. And by day 10, though, the high pressure over Scandinavia looks like it's taking over and bringing in the wind from more an easterly direction, with the low pressure, at least for a while, getting forced back into the middle of the Atlantic. Upper air temperatures not particularly cold with those easterlies, but would have a chill to them and would be pretty dank and damp probably. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from TemPetShow.com. Further wet weather to come in the south and southeast tonight and tomorrow in particular. That rain gets out of the way. And then on Friday, this is the rain slint zone coming in from the west on Friday morning, giving some snow to Wales, possibly the Midlands, Northern Ireland, northwestern parts of England as well. Rain, though, down in the south. Snow perhaps for northern England on Friday also. Wintry showers following along behind, possibly some wintry conditions into Saturday across parts of the country as well. I think I've got enough here to do snow watch, don't you? So I think we'll do snow watch tomorrow. And then, of course, next week the wind turns to south, so precipitation goes back primarily to rain, and it actually starts turning drier as we get to the end of the ECM run. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensembles day for day 10. Gets us to the 9th of March from the Icelandic Met Office. 15 members of the ECM Ensembles with high pressure to our north and northeast. Low pressure is to our west and southwest. And winds are coming in from an easterly direction there. So that could be starting to bring in potentially some cooler air from the east. We've established on the operation room it's not much cold air to the east, but, you know, could eventually, if we keep the EC going long enough, we might eventually start bringing some pockets of colder air in from, say, Finland or somewhere like that. 11 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our north, and again, bringing the wind from more an easterly direction with that to where we've got 10. Again, with high pressure to the north, bringing the wind from the east. So very strongly favouring easterlies, actually, by day 10 with the ECM ensembles. 8 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure more over the country, bringing the wind perhaps slightly from a southeasterly direction. And then finally 7 more unsettled, low pressure closer to us, high pressure further away from us. So that is, of course, a much more unsettled, but also potentially mild scenario. Looks generally drier with easterlies, I have to say there, through most of those options. So only 2 weeks' time, which gets us to the 14th of March, when I went wonky, we've got 17 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure blocking away to our northwest. Low pressure is over the north and west of Europe, so that looks potentially unsettled And could be travelling some quite cold air with that as well from the northeast too, so cool and unsettled with that one. 16 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to the north, and again around that we will bring the wind in from an easterly direction. We've got 13 with high pressure away to the northwest, or trough of low pressures over the top of the country. That could be cool and unsettled too. And then we've got 5 with low pressure over the west of Europe. High pressure is in the Atlantic, so again that could be quite cold and could be unsettled with that. If you do get some dry weather around day 10, probably not going to last very long. We're probably into quite cool, unsettled, maybe in slightly cold conditions, but also unsettled again by the middle of March. Sorry, buddy. CFS V2 finally, and then we're done. So these are 500 millibar height anomalies break down to week periods. The first week period takes us from 28th of February to 5th of March. Next week has low pressure, more or less over the top of the country, heights building away to the northeast. So still pretty unsettled there in the week ahead. Week 2, though, goes drier, hopefully. This will be 6th to the 12th of March. High pressure and building more or less over the country, but slightly to the east. Winds will be coming up from a southerly or a southeasterly direction with that, drier and mild. Week 3 is going to be the 13th to the 19th of March with high pressure right in over top of the country. Should be mainly dry with that, you would have thought. And week 4 is the 20th to 26th of March. High pressure then may be hinting going into retrograde, putting out into the Atlantic, and could this white area be filling up with a trough? In reality, if it did, then it would turn both more unsettled and cooler under that trough of low. But we'll have to wait and see. 4 weeks away, so it's a long way out, not really worth worrying about. Okay, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. Quite a lot one day, 26 minutes. Wow. Lot to discuss though, lot to talk about. No, if you enjoyed the video, please you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. And drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our bits. Thank you so much, everybody. Right, okay, so just tell you what's happening on I'll say no live stream tonight. Off out for a bit of dinner. But just coming up on the channel tomorrow, gonna have the 6 AM UK weather forecast. We are going to have the European outlook for the 10 to 14 there, and I reckon we'll slot snow wash in tomorrow as well. I think there's enough there to warrant doing a little snow wash for Friday and potentially Saturday. So a lot to come tomorrow, a lot to look forward to. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday though. For this video, that's all for now, and thanks so much.